Hiya. So tonight we've had a challenge. In fact, on Monday night we had a challenge, which is the 2018 Roundup challenge, and it's being run, or we've been challenged rather, by Jessica and Rue. Rue on the left, Jessica on the right of the screen. Now what they've done is they've come up with a bit of a challenge here, and I'll just come out to that for a second. I'll show you what I mean. And this is it. So there are 6 questions that I'm going to be answering tonight, off the cuff. And she's challenged 3 of us. She's challenged Brimwood Farm, Guru Mafinda, Guru, as Paul and Richard and Paul tell it, Guru Mafinda, and what Vivi did next. And the 6 questions are those. So it's: what was your best crop in 2018? What was your worst crop? What would you do differently? And what was your biggest challenge? Plans for 2019, and who inspired you in 2018? So yeah. So I'm going to do that. We've had our hair cut today, myself and the 2 boys. So I'm going to tag that on to the end of this, a bit of a before and after reveal. Not had a chance to get down to the plots this week at all, because by the time I'm getting back it's like 6 o'clock, half 6, it's pitch black. And so yeah, I've not done anything down the plots. But we will do this challenge this evening. And what you've got to do at the end of that is name the 3 growers that you want to challenge to give their 2018 roundup. So we'll start off with the first question. The first question being, what was your best crop of 2018? Now there was a few good ones. We've had a few good crops, but I think in the cold light of day, it was definitely the brassica family. And in particular, I would say it was the cauliflowers, because they were absolute revelation, the cauliflowers this year. We had massive heads, big as your own head, on the cauliflowers. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. We had absolutely beautiful, beautiful curds. And we've never grown cauliflower. And when you first see that little white head in the middle of all those green leaves, especially when you do what we did, which was I forgot to label up the brassicas, and we didn't know that they were cauliflowers. And it was only when we thought they were all cabbages and stuff like this. And as we were rooting through, one of them was revealed, and then another one, and then another one was revealed. And we had this fantastic, in the end, crop of cauliflower, and they were absolutely beautiful. And they were successionally grown throughout the year. I think we harvested the first one at the end of June. And then it was ones in about another 12 or 13 in July, August, into September. Altogether, we probably had about 70 or 80 cauliflowers off that plot. We had loads off it, absolutely loads off it, and they were all fantastic. I've got them in the freezer there underneath my laptop, about 3 or 4 heads of cauliflower. And so yeah, I would say the cauliflower, although the pak choy did very well as well. We had far too much of that though, the same with the cabbage. Like I said, the whole brassica family did fantastically this year. So for question number 2, what was your worst crop? Gotta say, it's gotta be the courgettes, because I had not clue one out about how to deal with courgettes, and we had them in the polytunnel, getting overheated, too crowded, powdery mildew, all the lot. I think we had about, out of 4 plants, we had about 6 or 7 that were about as big as your hand in length. Completely messed up the courgettes, but they were lessons learned for next year. We got a good top tip, but it was far too late really to make good use of it. We got a good top tip off Natasha Goswami about adding milk into a spray that you sprayed on for the powdery mildew. Get them outside, get them in the open air, that kind of thing. They're made really to be grown outside. They don't need to be in a polytunnel, especially the summer that we've had this year. because other people on the plots, when they did their courgettes, had fantastic results. Massive marrow-sized ones, you know, with no trouble at all. Just a proliferation of courgettes, whereas we got about 5 or 6 little tiddlers that were crap. What would you do differently, or lessons learnt? Well, this is our first year of growing this year on the scale that we're growing at the moment. Previously, as you may or may not know, we've only ever grown in buckets in the backyard at our house. And so this year's all been a big learning curve, to be honest with you. But I think what we would do differently, and what we will do differently next year, is much more variety. We had far too many brassicas, we had far too many cabbages this year. Many more cabbages than we could possibly eat. And we're not massive cabbage fans, to be fair. I mean, they were nice, they were alright. We made sauerkraut out of them, and you know, different things like that. What did we do? Coleslaw. So yeah, what I would do differently is I wouldn't have spent so much money, because to grow you don't really need to. I built those. I mean, they look good. Those like caged raised beds, netted raised beds, with the gull wing flaps on them, and they look the part, but you don't need it. You really don't need it. Spent a lot on wood. In hindsight, with patience, I would have gone and I would have collected the wood. I've collected pallets and built them out of that, or done what we're doing at the moment, which is using pallets and using reclaimed decking timber and things like that. But these are all things that when you first kick off, we had a barren plot really, which is the next question I'm going to answer. And the next question is, what was your biggest challenge? And the biggest challenge for us, to be honest with you, was converting the barren, overgrown, weedy, stony, uneven plot that we got in the beginning. When we got it at the end of February, we were in between the beasts of the east, and the challenge really was to turn that into a viable growing space. You know, clear it all out, level it off as best as we could. Amend the soil, although the soil was pretty good really, but it was stony, and as I say, it was uneven. And another thing that I would have done differently was the fruit cage. I would have never really done that fruit cage, and I took those red currants out, or moved them and given them away to somebody beforehand, because we hardly ate any of them. And I probably spent about 200 quid building that netted fruit cage that lasted about 3 or 4 months and then was pulled down. I was never happy with it, that big fruit cage. So yeah, so for next year, the plan for next year is to simplify things, but make them more elegant and retain their aesthetic pleasure, along with practicality. So it's the aesthetics and the practicality. So next year we're going to improve the layout of the plot and the ergonomics of the plot as well. We're going to be putting stone paths in there, as many stone paths as we can put in there and get our hands on. We're going to be doing another greenhouse. I'm going to be uprating the existing poly greenhouse and making that a polycarbonate glass house, and extending it by about 3 or 4 feet too. So at the moment that one's an 8 foot by 6 foot. Can't really widen it too much, but I can extend it by another maybe 2 or 3 feet. I want to extend it by 4 feet, but that'll mean me needing to either move it further towards the centre of the plot, or I'll have to move the compost corral that I made, that compost corral that I made. But we'll see what happens with that. I might just extend it a couple of feet, so it's like a 10 by 6, something like that, because I've got another 8 by 6 that I'm going to be putting on to the plot at the side of that big raised bed that I've just made. But yeah, there's so many things that we do have planned for next year, and it may well be if I decide I am going to put it on there, I'm going to be putting that solar power system on there, possibly. I'm like that at the moment because there's a bit of thievery going on, and if I put a 450 quid solar power setup on there, do you know what I mean? There's a chance, isn't there, that some tea leaf's going to get his hands on it. So yeah, that's the plan, or one of the plans for 2019. And this is an easy one, really. The easiest one is question number 6. Who inspired you in 2018? Well, loads of you gardeners and horticulturalists and the Lockfrontiers. You're all inspiring to me. But the biggest inspiration in 2018 has got to be our old friend, Mr. Tony O'Neill from UK Here We Grow. Now, any of you that's spoken to Tony and been interacting, very interactive guy, Tony. His channel's fantastic, his information is priceless, and his growing skill is, I won't say it's unmatched, but it's really, really, really good. He knows his stuff, Tony, and he's dead helpful, and he's really, really into what he does, and that transfers through the screen and, you know, transcends what he's doing. As an inspirational thing for us, it's been fantastic. I mean, I wouldn't have bought the solar setup if it wasn't for him. There's all sorts of things. The shed, the tiki hut wouldn't be as good if it wasn't for Tony O'Neill. The tips, the hints, I mean, I need to pay more attention, really, to his tips and hints, because he doesn't often get it wrong, Tony. There's loads of people that inspired us. There's homegrown veg, with his bucket growing, and his dog called Moll. He's great. You've got Mark, allotment diggers. You've got Nigel. You know, there's so many, really. There's too many, really, to name. You all know who you are. They're the ones. If you look on my subscriptions, they're the ones that I'm inspired by. Originally, I was inspired 5 or 6 years ago. I was sort of introduced to organic growing by John Kohler, who's one of the really big growers, American guy. And John Kohler has a channel called Growing Your Greens, or something like that, growingyourgreens.com. He makes his living out of selling juicing machines and whatnot, or he used to do. He probably makes it from YouTube now, because he's got about 500,000 or so subscribers. But he's not so much into, you know, showing his own wares anymore. He's more of a out and about kind of a guy, going visiting what other people are doing on a larger scale. I think he's after getting his own little farm going. He's been after it for a while. Lives in Las Vegas now. He used to live in the Bay Area of San Francisco. But yeah, those are the people that have inspired me. But most of all, it has been Tony O'Neill, and I can just say thank you very much for all your help, assistance, Tony, and your ongoing sort of cheerleading and support for us, as he does with many other people. He's a great, great member of the community, a leader in our community, Tony. Really good lad. And I'm glad that he's over 27,000 now. There's a few of our videos where if you watch some of our videos, especially through the summer, we were kind of plotting his progress. I think at the start of the year he was on about 13,500 or something. He's doubled, his subscribership's doubled this year, and rightly so. And it should double every year for the next 5 years until he's as big as John Kohler. I told him he would be as big as John Kohler, and he will be if it carries on the way it's going. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. The 3 that I'm going to nominate are as follows. So we've got Kelly's Kitchen Garden. R. Kelly. Not R. Kelly, but Kelly from up in Scotland. She's a great girl, Kelly. Have a look at her channel, Kelly's Kitchen Garden. If you're not already a subscriber, go and have a look. Essentially, her and her fella are building Winterfell. It's like a copy of Winterfell from Game of Thrones. Fantastic setup they've got up there, and she's a good grower and a good cook, a good chef lady. But I nominate Kelly. I also nominate Ronald, the car park guy. Where is he? I was talking to him before. God, I forgot what it's actually called. I'll put it down in the thing below. He's got a car park plot. God, I watch him all the time. It's gone from my mind. I'm not going to edit this out. I'll just show you the early onset that I've got, so you can feel sorry for me. Yeah. So Ronald, have his car park gardening. God, I'll put it down below. Sorry about that, Ron. Got to watch him all the time as well. And then there's Ant's allotment. So I want Ant as well at Ant's allotment. I want you to do the same thing that I've done. Okay. So I hope you have a really good rest of the week. I'll leave you with our haircut 100 experience. Me and the two boys, they were dead good and dead well behaved, and they all got lollies. And you'll see the before and after how beautiful and handsome my offspring look. All right, take care. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on the weekend for more constructing. I've got a few plans for this weekend if it pays off, and you'll enjoy the weekend ones. All right, boys and girls. So yeah, I'll see you all later on, and I'll leave you with Jessica and Rue. She looks like she said, "Really? You're not gonna get away with that, son. Bye bye." What we doing?
Wait, are you at? Oh, yeah, you are. You're actually filming it right now.
What we doing?
We're at the barber's getting a haircut.
Yeah. Who's getting a haircut?
That little one.
Let's show the people.
Okay, I'll show you.
That little one, isn't it?
Yeah, right there. That tiny little head. You can just about see it. But see, we just zoomed in the camera so you can see him.
Yeah, he's looking all serious, isn't he?
Face.
He'll look cool after this though, I think, won't he?
He's actually all the way over there, but...
So this is before. There's a 12. Slowly. Slowly? That's just as quick.
That's fine.
Right, that's the before. Okay, give us an after shot. Give us a twirl. Slow twirl, slow. Give us a big smile. Because you've been such good boys, you got lollies, didn't you? Let's have a look at you, Brad. Who's your handsome boy? So James, give us a twirl. In fact, hang on a minute. Beautiful boys, aren't they? Really good looking lads. They take after their dad, obviously, in that regard. No, they're the best of the both of us, of me and Lady Farmer. Of course, it was Ronald Shaw, Carpark growing area. I'm a thick get answer, but there you go, Ronald Shaw. Sorry about that before, Ronald. Happens to us all. It's age, isn't it, mate? Obviously not to you yet, but obviously it's more the mileage than the age. Have a cracking weekend, boys and girls, and keep on growing with your head down. I'll see you later. All right.